In this video, we're going to be reviewing the Flash 902 titled Hear No Evil. Just going to be breaking down the episode and talking my opinions about it. That's going to be this video. So I'm going to be doing reviews from now on. So I'm going to do any more after the Flash, but for the Flash, just taking the major points and breaking it all down, giving my opinions about it. So something in the first portion, the main part of the episode, which is Frost or Caitlin or Snow or who we're calling now Khione, who goes directly back to season 4 and season 5 era of the show. I really wasn't expecting to care for her character that much, but I really liked her. I think she's a good part of the show. I wish she wasn't introduced this season. I think last season would have been better, but it is the last season, and I think what they're going for is working. Now, I know everyone wants Caitlin and, or Frost, one of the two, but mainly Caitlin. So what I'm seeing, they can easily bring in Caitlin's, who she is through Khione. They can easily do that, which I believe is the route they're going for. Make her own person, not have her tied down to being a doctor or a metahuman per se. This is who she is, and we're trying to figure that out, and I'm assuming 903 will continue that, 904 or 5, but the rest of the season we'll be learning and figuring out who she is while she's figuring it out along with her. So it's a full thing of how this all play out. Now, her character, the way she was interacting with Hartley and Barry, Iris, Cecile, Team Flash, Mark, it was really it felt kind of like season 1, 2, kind of 4, mainly 4 and 5, I think, were the vibes of the episode, which is ironic because season 1 had major season 4 vibes and kind of season 1 and 2 sprinkled throughout. Episode 2 kind of has that same feeling, but more season 4 and 5 for Caitlin's sake. And it's still, it was a really good episode for Caitlin and Barry and some other stuff. But her new name is Khione, and if that rings any bells, because that was originally Frost's name. It got retconned. Was assumed Crisis changed it. But yeah, I'm very excited to see where our character goes. So, Kate's dad and mom, Thomas and Carla, were brought up. We didn't see them. It would have been nice to see them. Obviously, schedule changes. Maybe the actor's going to come back. Well, no, Thomas is dead, but Carla, it would have been nice to see her. We saw her a couple times season 8. They probably just couldn't get her back. Schedule. They can't really help it. But I'm glad they were both brought up, even though the one guy's dead. It was still nice to see them brought up. The Fiddler was brought into this episode. And we did learn that this is not a crisis change and not a bus meta. This is a full-on person using meta tech or guitar meta tech. I don't know. What? She's not a meta, right? Or no, she is, because she created sound waves. So she is a meta. Just we never interacted with her till now, 9 years later. Could be a crisis, the particle starter affected her, but and I'm not gonna even try to say the person's name because I'm gonna screw it up big time. But Iris brought up Izzy Bowen to Hartley Rathaway, and it was not Izzy. Now, it kind of seemed like they were saying that Izzy is alive post-crisis, which would add up with what I've been saying for months. So it seems like the bus meds are alive. They didn't die. We know that Becky Sharp will be appearing later in the season, most likely 906. So it's going to be a full-on story of, is it the past, present, future? Well, not really the future, but is it the past or present? Is it because of crisis changes, or is it a past flashback to season 4? What's going on with that? But it does seem like that Izzy Bowen is alive and well in this timeline, unless that's some other bust mess, from what it seemed like. And with the writing in that scene with Hartley, Barry, and Iris, it looked like that was the case. But speaking of the Fiddler, the new Fiddler, not Izzy Bowen, she's going after Hartley because she needs his gauntlets. She ended up going to his club where he himself, Hartley, his boyfriend, and several of his friends and employees were all there. Fiddler attacked Hartley and ended up getting a heart problem from both their blasts interacting with each other. He went to Star Labs. That's where the whole scene with Barry and Iris happened. Hartley was very amazing. Like, had some good stuff and had some, but it was a really good episode for Hartley. We got to see more of his character develop. Snow interacting with, at the time, Snow interacting with Hartley was very cool. And it was a very, like, again, kind of like OG 5 season scenes with Hartley. Kind of season 6 too, with the character that we got in season 6 carried over to season 9. So we haven't seen him since season 6. So it was very nice to see him come back and do all that. Which we don't know. We do know that he will be in 903. So, but the Fiddler wants Hartley's gloves for Red Death. I guess they're trying to say that Red Death has been vibrating the entire time because she can't stop vibrating. I'd always assumed that they were going to use the excuse of Red Death is vibrating to, like, scare everyone. But I guess she couldn't stop it. So she needed Hartley Rathaway's gear to stop the vibrating. And at the episode she did, and she was fully revealed to be Red Death. We didn't know that already, but and she's surrendering Central City because of what the Flash did to her. Whatever the hell that means. But the thing is that she keeps saying the Flash. She's not saying Barry Allen, she's not saying any other name besides the Flash. This makes me wonder if it's multiverse, time travel, something where Barry Allen isn't the Flash, it's someone else, and she connected the dots. That's not whoever else she thinks it is. This is a new Flash, but she wants to get rid of him anyways. But I'm going to talk about that probably in another video. I'm not going to waste time here. Barry, again, this season, I've been very worried about Barry being nerfed. In 901, he phased a nuke. In this episode, he phased through Fiddler's attack. In the bar, towards the end of the episode, or not bar, the club, Fiddler used like several different speakers to shoot at Barry and Hartley. Hartley fell down, but Barry still was standing, phasing through the attack. If that was like season 1 through 7 Barry, he would have fallen on his butt and gotten tossed into a wall and would have had hearing problems the entire episode. But because this is Eric Wallace and knows what he's doing with Barry finally, that didn't happen, and he got leveled up and nerfed, and, or not nerfed, sorry, buffed, and he was really amazing this episode. That was probably like the best scene in the episode. Barry phasing through Fiddler's attack, in my opinion. Now, Hartley was willing to kill Fiddler, but Snow was the one that talked him down, which is very interesting to me because it kind of does show who she is. And I do expect that to be picked up in next episode. Like, she's not for killing. She's not for, anything bad that can make her turn the other side, even though she doesn't really know what that is. She's not willing to kill. I think that should set a standard here. Whereas, like, Frost was willing to kill people when she first started out. So there's a big difference here between Frost and Khione. Chester brought up what happened to him during the Death Storm arc with his dad coming back, or supposedly coming back to Death Storm. It was just a very nice ode to the Death Storm arc. I'm glad they brought it up because this is part of the Team Flash history, right? Chester did go through that stuff when they were voting, which again, stupid thing to vote on, but they were voting on whether to bring Caitlin or Frost back through Snow. They're going to only bring back one, and 3 of them voted for Frost, 2 voted for Kate, Iris, Allegra, and obviously Mark voted for Frost. Bear and Chester voted for Kate, but it was very nice to see that resemblance to the Death Storm arc. It caught my eye, hearing it, because you could see, and Brandon McKnight killed it in the scene because you could kind of hear that, like, not hear it, but see it as well. Like that emotion that he had talking about it. Like he's been through that. And it hurts. You know, he has to live with that now. But, that whole scene was amazing for Chester and Barry and Iris, and like Mark was something else. Again, Team Flash voting on whether to bring Caitlin or Frost back was kind of stupid. Barry was the only one this episode that didn't annoy me at any rate. And Cecile, ironically enough. Iris didn't annoy me that much. There was some scenes where I was like, okay, whatever. But it was like Barry wanted Snow, now Khione, to choose her own path. And Barry's the only one with logic on his team. I think that was such a Barry moment. And by that I mean, this is who he is. We've known him for 9 years. Barry's been the guy who will let you choose your fate. If you want to become a villain, you become a villain. Barry will stop you. If you want to change and try to be better like you did with Hartley or Hotness, I mean, he's going to be in 903 next week. Both of them will be, but Hotness will be in 903 next week, and it's because the Flash turned him good. He was a villain twice, and Barry turned him good. He did the same thing for Frost. He did the same thing with, I want to say, Wally in some rate. The same thing with Oliver. I mean, Oliver was pretty much a criminal for 2 seasons. And then Barry came in and he changed Oliver's life. He made him a superhero. Not a superhero, but a hero. At any rate, that's because of Barry. So Barry has that ability to help people change into something good. It's something that will mean something to the world and not the worse. He has that way. He has an effect on people. And this episode really shined a bright light on that. It really did show that this is who Barry is. This is who we've been dealing with for 9 years. And this is how we're going to continue dealing with this character. It was very well done by the writers and Eric Wallace, who directed the episode. Which is why I think Khione came off so great. Because he did direct it. And Daniel Panabaker said that Eric Wallace was helping her get into this character the way he wanted it to. So for Barry and Khione, this episode was very strong for both of them. And I think the reason why it worked, and I know no one will admit this, is purely because Eric Wallace directed the episode. And he knew what he wanted. He knew what he wanted done in the writing, what he wanted done in the acting. And he told the actors that, and it got done. I think him directing this episode helped a lot. To me, looking at it from a whole, that's what it helped. This episode was not better than the premiere. I will say that. We got 3 flashbacks in 5 minutes. 2 or 3 of them were from last week. That should not be happening in the show. I'm glad it's only the first 5 minutes of the show that's when that happened. But if they really want to do flashbacks, just do a last time on the Flash thing like you did in the season premiere. Don't do it every episode. We don't need that. We don't need the first 5 minutes of every episode this season having flashbacks to last week talking about what happened. We don't need it. It's not necessary at all. So that was my one nitpick for the episode. Mark could easily become a villain. He threatened Hartley. He went behind Barry and Team Flash's back. Barry tried to convince him to work with them, which he did, and then kind of took a dig at Barry twice. And then again threatened Hartley after he destroyed the cryopod, which is pretty cool, by the way, to see him do that. But it was a cool thing to set into motion. And it makes me wonder if Mark will become an interlude villain for Barry to have to stop in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. And it's going to be a full-on, I think, little story arc for the season to where Barry and Team Flash have to come up with a way to take down Mark. Because I'd be genuinely surprised if there's not another big interaction between Barry and Mark, let alone Team Flash and Mark. So it's going to be, I think, the whole thing for season 9. I don't know how big, but I have a feeling it'll be a pretty big thing. I hope it will be. But again, who knows? Again, 902 for me was not better than 901. It had its highs, it had some lows. None of them were Cecile, which is amazing. Cecile not being in the Reed Snow's mind. That's more the reason to keep Khione around. Because apparently Cecile can't read her mind. At least her emotions, maybe because they're not in check. I don't know. But if Cecile can't read her mind, I am perfectly okay with that. I mean, by the way, we did not hear Cecile's little stupid annoying sound effect when she uses her powers once. We have not gotten that since like season 5. I don't know what the hell. I think Eric Wall's finally listening to people when we say we do not like Cecile using her powers all the time. He's finally listening. At least it's one time. Just because he directed it, he didn't want to deal with that. But the fact is that we didn't have to hear that stupid little sound effect that I swear to God's burned into my brain after all the times we've heard in season 8. It was so refreshing not to hear it. Because we literally heard it every single episode in season 8. Maybe besides like 1 or 2 episodes. But besides that, I mean, every single episode we heard that stupid little sound effect for Cecile's powers. We didn't hear it once, and she was in like 4 scenes. So I am incredibly proud of Eric Wallace for that. That was an improvement. But again, this episode had some very highs and some lows, I think. The filler didn't really interest me that much as I was hoping. I think if it was Izzy Bowen, it would have caught my attention more. And the guitar thing was just not it. The sound effect it played when she did it the first time, it was just horrible. And then the second time was like, okay, you're getting somewhere. And then she used her actual powers. Like, why do you need a guitar, I guess, if you're just going to use it to teleport? But then just carry like a little breach device thing that everyone would carry around to teleport away. You didn't need a guitar thing. So I don't know what that entire thing was. Owen Mercer made an appearance as well at the end of the episode. So he's going to be recurring like we already knew, but he will be recurring throughout the next episode or 2. I'm assuming till 903. Another thing to point out is that Red Death nearly killed the filler for failing her, so I think it's fair to say that all these Metas will die to Red Death when she's done with them. So it's going to be really interesting to see where all this goes. I'm very excited for it. I hope that 903 is, in my opinion, better than 902. I think it will be. It's just for me, the filler was not a good one-weeker villain. It could have been done much better, and the flashbacks just really set it off for me. And the whole voting on who we bring back, Caitlin or Frost, not really giving Khione a choice. I'm glad Barry's the one that did that. Barry admitting that he made some mistake with destroying Caitlin's sperm, but at the same time, being like he did it because he cares about Caitlin, didn't want to go down this exact path. I think that was a very good story for Barry. I know a lot of people disagree, but I think it was. So, yeah. I give this episode like a 7 out of 10. Again, I gave 901 an 8 out of 10, so I'd probably give 902 a 7. I'd have to rewatch some stuff just to see, but straight out after watching it, 7 out of 10 for 902. So, which isn't bad, but it could have been better. So, yeah. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.